All right, here we go for a round with our Grixis Delver deck in the league. We're on the draw. Having Blood Crypt is very awkward. It's one of Blood Crypt, Mountain, and Swamp is one of the few cards that doesn't tap for blue. I think this is still a keep. Against a lot of decks, we can Lightning Bolt on turn 1, and then either Pyromancer or Delver on turn 2 from there. So no fetch land, no cantrip. Like, the Tasker is kind of weak. Kolaghan's Command is kind of slow. This is a very borderline keep, I think, on the draw. I think lots of times you can log a hand like this and get better, but I think I'm going to go with the conservative route and just keep. Okay, looks like we're playing against red-green Valakut, so really hoping to draw a blue land here. I'm just going to lead on Blood Crypt Shock and probably just Lightning Bolt my opponent. There's only one deck in the front that plays Cinderglade, so I want to be as mana efficient as possible, especially because if you look at my hand this game, like, I'm going to probably be tight on mana at one point or another. So let's go ahead and Bolt Face, and let's see what we draw. I'm going to play out the Pyro. I think it's a little bit more efficient than the Delver, because the Delver costs more mana, and also, on average, attacks for more damage. Or about the same. I guess there's about half of my... A little under half of my deck is spells, so the Young Pyromancers does on average attack for a little bit more than the Delver does. He has a Bolt, which is fine, but no land. Okay, so if you're not Mana Leak for the Search, that'd be good. Otherwise, fetch land. Okay, so I can play Delver or Tassiger. I don't think there's any reason to play Delver over Tassiger here. We're already under 18, so I think I'm just going to shock myself to get another black source, because I have 3 black cards in my hand. Tassiger is just rather solid, because it can't be bolted, it can't be angered. And then next turn I can go, if I draw a land, I can go Delver plus Electrolyze or Kolaghan's Command. Him being stuck on lands means that he's got a pretty gassy hand, but he's also... I wonder if he had to he chose to bolt the Pyromancer over casting a card like Farseek or Sakura Triboter. That's likely the case. Electrolyze is pretty decent if he plays like a card like Sakura Triboter or something this turn. As long as he keeps missing land drops, it's pretty good for me. Buys me time to like put pressure on him and maybe draw into a Mana Leak. See how many lands he has. If he's got... There's the Elder. Okay, so I think we're just going to Electrolyze 1 and 1. To get in 4 damage here, and I'm hoping to draw into a land, though. If he draws a land, he likely has Primeval Titan next turn. We know he doesn't have a land because he just missed a land drop 2 turns in a row. So he sacks it, but it's still resolved, so I still get to draw a card. Bolt isn't a bad draw. Would have preferred a land or a Mana Leak or something. Okay, so he's going to have a Primeval Titan next turn. It's going to be tough to win this, because he's going to get, what, 2 Valakut triggers? Another Farseek. So we can get a Valakut and a Mountain. This is pretty rough. Serum Vision's not exactly what I wanted, though. I do have 5 points of burn in my hand. So let's think. If he plays a Primeval Titan... You can clear my board if, assuming he draws a land, which he might not. We know he doesn't have lands in hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but if he's got any sort of Farseek effect, he does. So my options are either just Serum Visions for 3 more points of burn. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. There is a Snapcaster. Interesting. Snapcaster is really, really strong here. So if I put him to 8, drain him to 6. Okay. Wow. So this is kind of complicated. So assuming he's got a Primeval Titan, well, if he's got a Summoner's Pact, though, I do want to Collective Brutality. I want to, on the off chance he's got a Summoner's Pact. The deck only plays 2 Summoner's Pacts, though. So I'll put him to 6. Then I can terminate the Titan and possibly survive. Or I can just, what I can do is I can bolt him and Murderous Cut the Titan at end of turn. think we're topping both for sure. I'm just trying to figure out how this game is going to go. I'm going to attack him to 8. He's going to play a Titan. Mountain. We might just die on our Titan. So well, 2 Titans definitely kills us because we can't kill him in time. That's why maybe I want to. I could shuffle away. Bolt. Only putting him to 8, which means if I put him to 6 with the Collective Brutality this turn, Kolaghan's Command plus Bolt doesn't bottom. I'm thinking about just bottoming the Snapcaster Mage, basically. Because if we just draw specifically Lightning Bolt next turn, our opponent dies. But at the same time, we don't really have lethal the turn after, because he's killing our Tasigur with 2 Valakut triggers. And then what? Then we're just like, terminate your guy, bolt you, draw Snapcaster. Yeah, I think I'm going to top these and just hope he doesn't have like a double thing. Oh, come on, Magic Online. This is unreal. I'm just trying to record a video here. And you're crashing on me. Oh, it's super frustrating. Not what I wanted to see. I guess I should have put the land. It doesn't really matter. I put the land first because I don't think it really affects anything. Cast with escalate. And I think I'm just going to discard the Delver. I think I could maybe, since I go to 17, beat 2 Titans with the 2 removal spells. So, and we have enough burn to kill him, so I think the Delver is not really going to do anything other than eat a Lightning Bolt. Oh, he does have 2 Summoners packs. That's pretty great, actually. We get to tag one of them. He does get to Titan me next turn. But we do get to terminate Bolt him, and then next turn Snapcaster Bolt him. So the plan sort of worked out. Though he might have enough mana to rip. I mean, we're still dead to Scapeshift, obviously, but yeah, the Brutality was really good there. It was basically like a Lightning Bolt that could maybe tag a Scapeshift or a Summoner's Pact, which it did. He does get to go Valakut Mountain, kill my Tasigur, and we just have him lined up to. He's got a 1-turn window to hit Scapeshift. Because his hand is just Anger the Gods. Plus whatever he drew this turn. See, I could have kept the Delver and went Delver, Murderous Cut plus Bolt. But I think that if he went Titan and then Titan again, I don't think I actually die. But I guess I'm just burning him out anyway. I don't know. I got a little confused, but the line in this game was pretty solid, I think. Didn't even really have a good draw this game. Just kind of, he didn't hit land drops, which is part of the reason why this deck plays 27 lands. You just have to hit land drops. And that's part of the reason that Explore is bad. Like if Explore was if Explore wasn't like just a rampant growth, like actual rampant growth, he might have been able to win this game because he would have, I believe, taken out the task return sooner. But yeah, he's got 1 turn to draw Scapeshift or he's dead. Oh no. Okay. So we're safe. He does 6 to us, and we finish him off. And I don't know if he expects it or not, but based on the top-off Serum Visions, I don't think he'll be surprised to die here. Snapcaster back to Bolt. So we didn't draw a single counterspell that game, but just beat him. Like, obviously he missed land drops, but it was a pretty decent showing by us. Alright, so we got the Electrolyze. I don't like Kolaghan's Command, especially he might be signing an Obstinate Baloth. I guess his deck does play 2 Chalice of the Void, at least in the sideboard. In the board in the Counter Squall and the Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce isn't great. It's kind of hard to hit his spells, especially the spells that matter, like Summoner's Pact and Scapeshift. But I think it's pretty often going to be better than the cards like Electrolyze and Kolaghan's Command. I'm tempted to cut the other Kolaghan's Command for like a Lighthouse. I could also board in Surgical Extraction. Which is kind of loose, but if I'm able to like counter a Titan and then extract it, or escape to then extract it, it's really good. I can also like Thought Scour my opponents and Surgical him, not to mention, you know, he's got a lot of 4-ofs. Like, if I just probe him, I can potentially have like bad Thoughtseize. So maybe it actually is good. Maybe I should try it. Maybe I'll try one. I actually like Lightning Bolts a lot. Like, there's not that many, a lot of combo matchups, you know, you only want like 2 Lightning Bolts, because you want to just draw 1 to potentially increase your clock by 1 turn to like end the game with Bolt Snap Bolt or something. But against this deck, it's pretty consistent, because once it gets to lands, like his mountains are just gonna kill my creatures. So I'm gonna need actual reach, one way or another. Collective Brutality is pretty slow on the draw. I think I'm just gonna cut a Kolaghan's Command for Surgical. Though that leaves me to no outs to the Chalice, which he'll probably board in. I guess I have Spell Snare. I could cut a Young Pyromancer. I actually kind of like that. Young Pyromancer for a Kolaghan's Command. He's got Bolt, he's got Anger, and he's on the draw. I'd rather just have a spell, like I can rebuy a Delver with it, which is essentially similar. 62-card Valakut deck. Okay. Fair enough. This hand is interesting. Fetch, 3/4. Could potentially play a turn 2 Angler if I draw a land. Right? Because and he plays a 2-drop, which he's very likely to play a 2-drop. I can Spell Snare it. That's 2 cards in the graveyard. Then Thought Scour puts 3 cards in the graveyard. So actually, I need to draw a fetch land in the first 2 turns. But Angler on turn 2 is just absurd. I do have some kind of like, I do have an out to Chalice, addition to Spell Snare. I do have like answers to Titan, but you kind of would rather just have mana leaks. Like these are. Also, I should have sided one of these out. Though Terminate was good for me last game. Kind of greedy to keep this, though we did side in a 20th land, which makes it a little better. Yeah, I'm just gonna try it. I'm not really that keen on keeping 1-landers, but I have Disruption, and I have a really potential. Like I have the potential to just go Spell Snare 2-drop, play Gurmag Angler if I draw one of my 8 other fetch lands. Is pretty good, and I can also drop Probe. Not to mention like you know, I can survive after missing a land drop if I can counter one of his 2-drops. I just think the ability to Spell Snare his first Farseek is just really, it like slows him down an entire turn, potentially 2, because then like he only, you know, he can't go like double Ram Spell on 4 mana on turn 3 or something like that. But it is I guess. Well, it's too late now, but the supporting cast of this hand is kind of like if one of these was like a mana leak, then it'd be a much more objectively powerful hand, and I'd be more likely to keep. Or like obviously this could be one of my Tassinger instead of my 1 Gurmag Angler, and it'd be a lot better. But you know, let's just run it, see what happens. The Green-Eyed Valakut deck is very good. It's just extremely consistent. I just love lands that do things. You gotta search for tomorrow. Okay. It's a good start from him. We draw a Delver. I'm just going to pass. Hope that he's playing a 2-drop on this turn. If not, I just get to Thought Scour myself, which is fine as well. Like, if he just does nothing, I get the Thought Scour, which I want to hit lands anyway. I'm going to get a Watery Grave. Oh, actually, this might be one of these situations where you actually don't get the Watery Grave, because now Now if I draw another, if I go like Thoughtscour on my main phase for another fetch land, I can't actually play the Gurmag Angler unless I want to get like a Blood Crypt, which is kind of awkward. But it's probably fine. Spell Snare that. And interesting, if we don't draw a land here, what we're supposed to do, we probably just get greedy and play the Thoughtscour. Okay, we do draw a land, so I'm actually going to fetch for the Steam Vents. Yeah. Thoughtscour ourselves with that. And now we have an Angler. So it worked out exactly how we drew it up. And I said that part of the reason this hand is good is the potential to do this. So hopefully we can win this game with the Zombie Fish. And we did draw a mana leak, so we could potentially leak the first Titan. It's likely going to come down on turn 4. But we do have an Angler, which is just like it's so hard for him to deal with that. If we draw land, we can play Delver too. Wow, that was a sick, pretty magnificent draw, honestly. Him for 5, and you can kind of see why like the Delver deck is good. Like, yeah, I can't really beat a Banto Drowsy deck, but if you just like against a combo deck, it's just your threats are so cheap. You put so much pressure on your opponent while providing disruption, and this deck even plays less counterspells than most Delver decks do. So feeling okay about my spot here. I'm hoping Pulse of Marasa on the land. I could Mana Leak that for tempo, but I don't think that's good because I want to Mana Leak the first Titan. And I'm hoping that his first Titan is a Summoner's Pact, and that's part of the reason. That's part of the problem. It is Summoner's Pact Bolt. That's part of the problem with. That's part of the problem with this deck is that it's kind of weak against counters. Because if he goes like Summoner's Pact, play a Titan, then we get to Mana Leak the Titan, and it's like a Time Walk. Because then on his next turn, he's got to pay 4 for that. He's got a Bolt in his hand, so no reason to run out the Delver, obviously. Just going to let him go Summoner's Pact into Titan, which we get to Mana Leak, and he's got an entire whole turn where even if he draws Titan, he can't cast it. Drew a Tasker, which is interesting. Because we could potentially play that next turn if we draw a land, because we can return it with our Kolaghan's Command. Ooh, so he's going to... That's so Bush League, like the begin combat Summoner's Pact. Like, oh, was it just an accident, maybe? Just to see if I F2 or F6 or something. Something I really dislike about Mono. Wow, so Food Breach was actually an unbelievable draw. Like, unreal. Because let's see, if I let the Primeval Titan come into play... Oh, man, that sucks so bad. If I let the Primeval Titan come into play... then I just lose my Angler, so... And I just die. Yeah, so let's counter it. I think we still might win, though, because actually, now that I think about it, he can't play the Titan next turn, because he has to pay for Pact. And I also have the ability to make him discard a card. So we just go Delver. He didn't bolt end of turn, which is actually reasonable. Kind of wanted him to bolt because then I can maybe get the Primeval Titan out of his hand via a Kolaghan's Command. If I flip these Delvers, he actually has to kill one. Okay, there's one. But now he's dead to a flip because I have the Kolaghan's Command and I can go upstairs with it. Snapcaster Mage. No. to reveal. But I think I'm still likely good here. Because I do have Terminate. So we just pass. He's going to be able to resolve Titan. But depending on what he's drawn, like, I have a few turns to draw Burn. And I can just Snapcaster, kill the Titan. Smartly keeping his fetch fund up, because if he draws a land, he can go, like, search up a... Well, I guess because he only has 4 mountains, it doesn't do much, but he drew a mountain. So he can get the Titan, get 2 Valakits, if he wants, through the Breach. So he actually just punted by playing his land out, because now I can just make him discard in response. That's probably game. Though I might have been able to beat that anyway, just by like murderous cutting the Titan. He probably feels pretty silly for playing that land. Because he could have just played it after and does... Well, I guess not necessarily. Playing the land is not necessarily a punt because he wanted to get turn 2 Gurmag is sick. Yeah, he actually just messaged me turn 2 Gurmag is sick, which is kind of like why I kept that hand. It's funny because the hand was kind of sketch, but having the spell snares just makes that hand so good because I can essentially, not a time lock, but in this kind of matchup, it's like time lock you. If I can play a 5/5, it's going to be almost impossible for him to kill me. And like you saw here, it's kind of like, even if he does get the Titan in play, it requires multiple Valakut triggers, so I can kill him in another way. So, good game, and I'll see you guys for next round.